Hey, everybody, it's Eri from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan. We're at 2.3 trillion, up just 1% as a whole. But man, oh man, the top performer in that 100 by market cap is Quant, up 34% on the day, 48% on the week. At the time of this recording, it's at $285. The order books are having a real difficult time keeping up. This project is going to shock a lot of people. And those that have been following me, well, you know how serious I am about its use case. And I can tell you it has only begun. Now, Bitcoin, we always want to pay attention because it is dictating the sentiment of the market. It is pegged 100% very bullish. It's still sitting over 50,000, so that's a good thing. All right, I really just want to get right into this particular video because I have worked hard on it. I've actually worked really hard the last couple of days bringing you content. John Deaton put out this tweet about 24 hours ago. He says, Valerie Sesnapanic. I'm sorry. Everybody has trouble with that last name. Let's just call her the Crypto Czar because that's her nickname. She's at the SEC, and any videos of her before and after the Hinman speech would be significant. If there are videos out there, I'm sure Digital Asset Buy, which is DAI, Backup Bradley, which is Brad Kimes, and then myself, and all the incredible crypto sleuths out there will find it. So, of course, this is the kind of challenge that I need to just set me on that search. And I found a couple of very interesting videos. This one is most interesting. I think maybe some people might not follow how interesting I think it is, but the important takeaway in just 31 seconds here is that the attorney Daniel Kahn, who was the moderator at South by Southwest 2019, he admits here that he promised the senior advisor, Valerie, for digital assets at the SEC, that he would not talk or ask about the Howey test on stage. Why? Because obviously they will put themselves into a corner even further. It's a clear example here. It's a clear example of the lack of transparency, the lack of clarity, and how they just want to set traps. It's clear. I'm going to have you listen to this 31 seconds.
It's amazing in the past 2 years. I mean, since the Dow report came out, and it was the summer of 17, just how much this regulation has entered kind of the mainstream consciousness and lexicon, and how people are talking about things like the Howey case, which is a very old Supreme Court case that dealt with whether or not something is a security. And I think I may have promised you at some point that we weren't going to talk about Howey on stage. So sorry about that. It's amazing in the past 2 years. I mean, since
So he apologized for bringing it up because they obviously had an agreement that he would not bring it up. This is bad. This is really bad. Here is the other one. I'm so sorry the sound is bad. The original sound is very poor. The quality is so bad. Somebody from the audience was recording this ACTAC panel in 2018, 39 days before the Hinman speech. And here she is again. She was an assistant at the SEC Enforcement Cyber Unit at the time. And what you're going to be able to hear in this 1 minute portion is that she obviously, you can conclude that she believes that Ethereum is a security, yet we know that her seniors gave it the green light, all right? The other thing too is that when she talks about how she hasn't seen a utility token, that there isn't any pure utility token out there, she's just not well informed. She has not done her research. Now, granted, this was 2018 and ODL had just launched, so those rails have to be laid down before you can find the market makers to put the liquidity in place that meets the demand that's set up within a remittance corridor. it's just if she really understood the use case of XRP and how they have to build out the rails first, it just shows me that she really doesn't know the space as well as she should know it. And especially when you think that the case was brought in 2020 and ODL was way on its way. This point that John Deaton keeps bringing up about how the SEC says it doesn't have utility, oh my gosh, they just don't have any idea. And I'm going to also show you a place where you can find that pure ODL utility. But first, let's listen to this 1 minute portion. I know the sound's going to be really difficult, but just kind of, we say gum on, just bear with it here.
Yes, I think we agree that the tokens can have utility and provide an underpinning for a lot of the
She's getting a question from the audience right now.
migration we're talking about today. Are there specific instances in which you've identified token utility that is not regulated as a security?
I've seen a lot of it. I haven't seen a pure utility case yet. I think most of what we see, especially in the tokens that are issued on a blockchain by some central issuing set of group of entities or people or promoter, have the hallmarks of a security. I think especially when you have immediate secondary trading, it's hard to argue that folks are buying it by the droves, millions of tokens for utility, and many cases for a system or ecosystem that has not yet been built, is that the token has no functional utility. So I think that's the majority of things I've seen. I haven't really seen the pure utility case, but I'm just speaking for myself.
Yeah, of course, she's just speaking for herself. But think of this now. Here she is in the enforcement cyber unit, and she's got the position that all of them are securities. Yet we have Hinman putting through the green light, obviously for alternative motives, right? And this is why it is so bad. So it's kind of painful to watch these videos. Now, if you want to look and see ODL, if you watched my video yesterday, I did a very deep dive and I showed you that a former director of the Latin American market for Ripple has since moved over to this exchange that has launched in Brazil called Satoshi Tango. And of course, at Short the FOMO is on it and tracking it now because he is building these tools on the backside of the 3xrp.dev site. And you can see here that we are talking about remittances. We're not talking about inventory or market making or liquidity. These amounts and coming from the same whale every time is definitely live ODL. This is remittances. And so it's just so exciting to see what he is building here. This is a site which I think a lot of you are aware of, the live XRP transactions that you can see go around the globe. That's really, really fun. But if you go to the side here, he has a lot of different areas of the website that are continually being built out. He's just getting going on this website in the last couple of months, and he keeps finding ways to expand. This right here is the whale watching area. It does take 10 XRP to get in, and once you purchase, you can see the whale watch section is enabled. This is the dashboard that you can maneuver. He's got a gateway section, stats, whale watch, market maker, the block track, the oracles. And like I said, follow him in combination of what he's finding. in his data on Twitter, and then you can use the website and truly see what the whales are doing, who's moving what and where. And this kind of vagueness, you see once in a while, you'll see the headlines on the articles come out and it says, 10,000 or 10 million XRP were today moved, and then you have all this speculation. But here you have the actual where it's going, who is moving it, how often. Is it part of making the market, providing that liquidity? Is it inventory coming from a Ripple wallet? Is it the remittances that are coming on a consistent basis? It's getting very, very I don't want to say easy, but it's getting very clear with the tools that he is building here. So that's what I want to tell you. And then I made this video just for my friend Bearable Bull. I didn't do it for anybody but him. And if you've watched his videos in the last 48 hours, you're going to get why this is so funny. So here you go, just 35 seconds for you, Bearable.
More than in the past. Can you tell us a little bit about what's happening on this front at the SEC?
Sure. And as the regulator in the room, I have to say that the views that I express are my own and not those of the agency or any commissioner or any of my colleagues. Sure, thank you. And quick disclaimer that my views represent my own views and not necessarily those of the commission or any commissioner. Valerie. Okay. Thanks. Thank you. I just have to say the views that I express here today are my own and not necessarily those of the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission.
They all have that line, right? How ridiculous. I mean, how ridiculous to even say that. Because there you are on panel representing the SEC's views, but you say that these are only my views. I mean, it's just really quite ridiculous. This came from Sparky 91011. I think that's the zip code for Pasadena, California, if I'm not mistaken. He sent me this article that's back from 2018 when the CFTC gave the green light for their employees to trade cryptocurrencies. So they are in the camp that they are commodities. It's really getting interesting, especially since Ripple is asking for those trades from the SEC. And here we have James Filan telling us that the Ripple team has added 2 new attorneys. And well, this is interesting because they're litigators, for one. And these litigators, you have to ask, what does a litigation lawyer do? Very often I heard Jeremy and John and even Jesse, they call themselves litigators. They don't really call themselves lawyers. And they have really 7 different parts of their work. They have investigation, they have their pleadings, they have their mediation, they have discovery, they have pretrial motions, they have the trials, and they have the appeals. And so I think when you look at preparing for negotiations, that would be the mediation. That's important. Also, the ability to seek and uncover weakness in the case is really a big one. And then preparing for a trial is a big one. So the 2 new attorneys that came on, you wonder, well, why are they coming on at this point, at this stage? And I think while the preferred goal is always to resolve a dispute, which usually means by way of settlement, if one side is unwilling to settle, well, the only recourse then may be to proceed to trial. And after discovery, the essential part of a litigation lawyer is to try to mediate. So maybe that is what they're going to try to do. And this is compulsory before any case can go to trial. But here's something I'd like you to think about. And the reason why I bring it up is because, well, the most intelligent person I know once said to me that you should never plant your opinion or belief or position in what you'd like to see happen, but always put yourself in the shoes of those involved, especially when it's a complex, sticky, difficult situation. So I put myself in the shoes of the SEC. And, I think they believe they're not scoring a lot of points. I think that would be safe to say. And they're definitely still fishing. And a settlement doesn't really mean a win for them or for Ripple for that matter. And if they think they are going to lose, well, they have nothing to lose by going to trial. Do you see my point? Going all the way to trial is that Hail Mary pass for them, especially if they think they're going to lose. They just can't lose. I mean, they might have to take the risk to go to trial to have one last shot. And in addition, they'll be able to go after a lot more market participants in the meantime, while that is taking its time to get to a trial. And as for Ripple, well, I think they have the heart and the money to go all the way. Like I said, settlement doesn't give the space clarity. And I've been keeping up on the research. I know a lot of people have shifted their focus to only following the lawsuit, but I've been following their business, and it's still growing in many parts of the world. And while they are still able to grow, the research tells me, it kind of tells me this case can continue. Now, do I think it'll continue? That's not my point. That's not what I'm trying to tell you here. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to give a contrarian point of view based on putting yourself in the shoes of those other people to get maybe possibly a more well-rounded thought process. That's it. I'd love to see it end because I would love to just see everything go back to a full-on build-out mode. But I guess I'm just trying to go through a thought process with you, with a technique or some advice that was given to me a long time ago by someone who I think is really, really smart. And the utility and the ledger, the XRP ledger, just keeps building out. I mean, not just the use case for cross-border remittances. No. The use case of XRP just keeps building out. So I just wanted to tell you how I am thinking, which is just trying to think of all the angles and all the perspectives. And then for a very unpleasant day in terms of the SEC clips that I watched, I decided to finish it off with a voice of reason. This is the U.S. Representative Warren Davidson. This is from June, and he is about to reply to some crazy talk that came from Congressman Brad Sherman. Guy is just, he's so untethered when it comes to talking about crypto. And it was so great because Warren Davidson reminds himself of the proverb 26:4, which is, answer not a fool according to his folly, lest you be like him yourself. So I want you to just listen to this 46 seconds.
I won't spend long on Mr. Sherman's remarks, but China is building the creepiest surveillance tool in history. We should absolutely not emulate them. The whole fact that China is doing that is why we should be embracing decentralized distributed ledger technology that is more secure and does protect privacy. We could actually go further to defending freedom and restoring our Fourth Amendment constitutional protections in the financial sector by embracing the potential of this technology, not by being hostile to it. The third-party doctrine has annihilated the whole concept of privacy, and yes, we absolutely should keep the country safe. I could spend a lot longer, but I'm reminded of Proverbs 26:4, so I won't spend longer on his comments.
Perfect, Warren Davidson, perfect. I loved it. All right, we're jumping to the fluff, and this is just short and sweet because I need to go eat dinner. It's 1:25 in the morning. Gosh, this day just got beyond me, out of control in terms of how much time I was looking for those videos for John. All right, we're in the rural part of Japan here. I don't remember where this is, but it's very rural, and they don't have the convenience of a lot of stores, and so there are these small little kind of mom and pop groceries, convenience stop-ins that will have just your basics. What I found, though, is that they're very in tune with their community, and the community has, of course, like all communities all over the world, have been under strain. And so the owner of this particular convenience store decided to put in the vending machines out in front a choice to pay just 300 yen, which is like just under $3, the ability to read a love letter. And so what he found is that his patrons, his customers, are so happy to read a love letter that he's just spreading a little goodness in the world at a time where everybody needs to have a little goodness. And it's the letters are really, really sweet. And I'm not exactly sure who's writing them. I have a feeling the store owner is writing them, but writes them in such a creative way, it just makes you feel good. So this is a person who is doing his part in the world to make everybody feel just a little better. All right, everybody, do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.